Hey guys, Rob here. It's May 20th, 2026, doing the Ferry Masters Mastermind. I did a video last week. It was like a 25-minute video, and it was just kind of like talking about different things, what I'm up to, and some of the ideas that I'm working with. And this is our mastermind where other members come in and we talk about stuff. Nobody's here though, so I'm going to go ahead and talk because I have some ideas I want to share with you guys, and also talk about with a focus more on marketing and some ideas to do with business building, which I think are pretty important ideas. I never considered myself a photographer, although when I found photography at the young age of 19 and started my first business when I was 24-ish. Um, I always considered myself more of a business person, so a marketer of photographic services versus a photographer who happens to offer services. I think it's important to view your business that way because it forces you to think in terms of best marketing strategies, best business building strategies, and that is applied on so many different layers and so many different levels in business. A couple of examples that pop into my mind are, well, what do you do? Like for example, I do a lot of ferries, as you know that, and I always wondered why isn't there anybody else doing ferries in my city? And the next thought to that is, well, what if somebody started doing ferries, and what if they started doing a better job than me? You know, um, And it's okay to think that way as long as you don't get fearful and let the fears navigate and control your direction and decisions. So I look at it like, okay, if that were to happen, my question that I would ask myself is, what do I need to do in order to be and maintain my position in the marketplace? In a sense, when you find the solutions and you have success based on that approach, then are you're using it in a positive way. Like competition is actually a good thing. The more the merrier, in a sense. Because who wins? Well, the customer wins because they're going to get a better quality service. They're going to get probably some better prices. Although it's never a good idea to 100% market based on price alone. That's not a good idea. I mean, price is a factor, but it's not the only thing. If you start marketing on price only, you are, in a sense, going to you are going to be the more you do it, the more you become a commodity. So it's like gas prices. I mean, what's the difference between one gas station to another? Well, if I went to one gas station and it was a couple cents cheaper than the other gas station, but the other gas station they were friendlier and or they had, my favorite snacks that I like to pick up, I probably would pay the few extra cents, especially if they were friendly and if I knew them, and you got to know them. You show up, you go, "Hey Al, how you doing? How's the family?" You have that connection. And all of these, there are just so many of those as examples that I could use that you can use to allow yourself to stand alone as competition when competition gets fierce, when you're just another gas station on the corner. When I say on the corner too, it's sometimes for gas stations, location matters the most because it's the one that's right there when you need the gas. So you have to look at all these things, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a little more in depth in a minute. Um, but yeah, marketing based on price alone is never a good idea. You know what I mean? It's just never a good idea. So, anyways, we have a fair day coming up in about a little under 2 weeks. We got about a dozen paid. I redid the ads yesterday, so I got ads running for 6 more days. Immediately started getting some inquiries. So, knock on wood. And we've got a bunch of fair days coming up this summer. I was talking to Erica, who I noticed she liked one of my fairy pictures this morning. So I looked her up and I went, "Oh, I remember Erica. She used to be a Fairy Masters member. She's not anymore, which is okay." So um, I reached out to her. Actually went and I looked up her website, and I'm like, "Oh, wow, she's doing amazing work." I'm going to show you a few samples, actually. I'm sure she won't mind. Actually, I'm going to send her this video. So, hi, Erica. I'm trying to get her to join me on one of these calls, but we're going to work on that later. So she's a little apprehensive. Sometimes brainstorming. So I've offered a one-on-one with Erica in order to help this. Let's look and see where, because she told me, she says her bookings are down. And I'm actually kind of fearful of that too, because of AI, because of just turbulent economic times. And you can't let any of these things control you unless there are changes that are like, when CDs came out and vinyl, nobody was interested in vinyl. I know I got rid of all my vinyls when CDs came out. Now I'm kind of rethinking, oh, maybe I should have kept them because I'm thinking of getting a vinyl record player, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. The fact is that one industry got changed radically, and as did photography. I mean, photography got radically, drastically changed, and it really got enhanced with cell phones. Cell phones are no longer cell phones, they're literally cameras now, and web browsers, social media. Cell phones are cameras. So everybody's a photographer. Everybody's a photographer. So that's really drastically changed our industry. And we have to look at ways, and that's another example of finding ways to stand out, not being just another gas station. What can I offer my clients? And I believe Fairy Sessions answer this question beautifully. What can I offer my clients that they can't do on their own, and or where they'll be inclined to want to do on their own, or they'll be able to do on their own. They'll do a crappy version of it, but they'll be okay with that. And this is okay. A cell phone picture's all right. That's where people are at. That's the culture. That's where it's going. So we have to keep that in mind. And as we build and grow our businesses, what do we need to do to educate them to, never be bitter, never be resentful, never be jealous, never be envious, never use any fall trap or prey to any of those negative emotions because they're not going to serve you well. They are not going to serve you well at all. And if they do happen to show up, um, you have to be honest with yourself and look at it and go, okay, why am I feeling this way? There's more to this, and you have to grow. I mean, I've talked about this a million times. I've said it a million times. Fix the owner, you fix the business. So you can look at anything that's going on. And like, for example, I know a lot of photographers are a little bit stubborn. Eh? Are you? Am I? Am I stuck in this is the way I do things, and my pride and ego are controlling me here? I'm just looking for a pen because I want to write that down. I don't have a pen. You'd think I'd have a pen, right? Pride and ego. So pride, ego, guilt, shame, anger, resentments. Look at your actions. What are your actions? Your actions dictate a lot, you know, your behaviors. So I say all this stuff to take a holistic approach to business. So if any of those areas are relevant, and they ought to be, at least at some point in our lives. Let me give you an example. And the opposite. So you're very, very successful. You're making lots of money. Everything's good. You get complacent. You're getting happy. Oh, look at me. I can do no wrong. So many people in business have been caught in that situation. And the next thing you know, everything went away, everything changed, and they got caught. They got caught. And they tried a bunch of crazy ideas to try and fix it. I mean, one of the worst things is to then start marketing on price. I talked about that already. So, anyways, I'm kind of rambling on here with a lot of this and talking about different esoteric, deeper philosophical um, essentials when it comes to building a business. So, I'm a big, big believer in Think and Grow Rich. The book, if you haven't read it, read it. I know some people are critical of Napoleon Hill. There's some controversy about his reputation. I don't really care. I don't want to hear about it. Doesn't matter how he got to where he got to, but he got to where he got to, and that's all that matters. Think and Grow Rich is, my opinion, to this day, the best business book, self-help book ever. Chapter one, there's these principles, right? First principle, chapter one. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just going to talk about the first. The first principle is desire. Okay, so your desire dictates just about everything in life. So, in other words, goals. What do you want? So, you get clear on that. And, if I start acting out of fear or as a retaliatory or as a reaction to a particular situation, and it's a negative thing, it's not a reflection of my desires. So let's say a studio opens next to me and they're doing everything I'm doing at half the price, and I get mad. Well, I'm mad. Rawr, I'm really angry now. I'm going to make decisions based on that state of anger instead of just calming down, looking at myself and asking myself, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? So desire is everything, 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 everything. I mean, there's a whole much more to it. I highly recommend you read the book. Okay, so desire. So if you want to get to point B and you're at point A, you'll get there. Knowing if you know where you want to go, you get what you want when you know what you want. So it's never a straight line ever. And this is where a lot of people fall short. So you got to go from A to B. They start moving, something happens, they get setbacks. Then they blame their spouse, they blame the market, they blame whatever nonsense they blame. So here's the point. You're going from A to B, and when often you're starting out, B looks far away. It's just an idea. But the clearer you are in your head about what B is, the quicker and the less ziggy-zaggy that journey will be. Okay? So I know I want to go to B. I'm here at A. I start moving. I make some movement towards that. Something happens. Boom, you get knocked down. You get back up, you continue. So you're going here, you're going there. You always stay moving forward. Now, you never go in a straight line because that's just not the way life works. It's always a zig and a zag. But knowing where you want to go is the most important thing. So getting there is a journey loaded with failures, and that's tuition. I'm going to give you another example. So I play music. I'm in a band with three guys. We're three guys, and we're doing a pretty good job, actually. We're having a lot of fun. John is the main singer, and his voice is amazing. And I sing a bunch of blues and whatnot. And I look at it as a challenge and something that maybe I want to do more and more of because I'm getting older. I'm going to be 68 years old next month, 2 months from now. And I'm like, yeah, I really like this music. It's a lot of fun, and we're having a good time. And the drummer is 46 years old, 45 years old. He's amazing. He's a really good drummer. And he wants to play gigs on his own, which is cool. We all kind of have these other side gigs that we're doing musically. And he was trying to get these gigs at the local Hilton, which is a lounge. They have twice a week. And he would be qualified for it. I have reasons why they're not really booking him. He's really good musically, but there's just something missing. So my point is this. I was talking to him a few weeks ago and he was mad. He said, yeah, I keep contacting the manager lady and she never gets back to me. I told him, I said, you know what? She probably likes what you do, but the reason she's not contacting you is because you're not what she wants. She's got way more other options available to her. And she's going with them. I mean, you're good. You got to say that to a musician, just like you got to say that to a photographer. You're good, and he is good, but they're better. So, and they are. They have something a little more that they're bringing to the game that he's not able to bring to the game. My point is this, A to B. He wants to go where he wants to go. He's getting a little whiny. He's blaming, and I'm trying to steer him straight. Stay focused on the end goal. What do you need to do to make it so that you have something she wants? And so that journey, you notice it's a journey. So decide what you want in business. Where do you want to go? And I mean, for most of us, it's I want to take pictures of people and get paid X amount of dollars a year. I want to take pictures of children or commercial headshots, weddings, having some sort of clarity based on that. And for photographers, a lot of us let our egos get in the way. I've said that since day one. I noticed that in the 80s when I started out. I was like, these guys, yeah, they're a little full of themselves. This could all go away tomorrow. And for many of them, it did go away. So you got to stay on top of your game. And so I'm back to my what I consider to be one of my superpowers, and that is that I consider myself a marketer of photographic services first and a photographer second. And part of being a marketer of photographic services means that I have that awareness that I know that when I've got a vision where I want to go, remember, Think and Grow Rich, I have a vision. B, I'm at A, I want to go there. How do I get there? You go, you just move, 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 do everything you can with all that you have available. Start moving now, 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 now. Just keep going, keep going. And one of the best things you can do is talk to me here in this environment. Get filled with ideas. Just be calm. Know that you're gonna figure out something. And because I just can't imagine people not wanting these fairy pictures. I mean, anything could change because they love them. They love them so much. I mean, it's possible it could change, but then I'll have to just find out some other way to keep doing what I'm doing. And one thing, I mean, just as an example, and you know this already, we do weddings, we do pop-up weddings. And that was an answer to the changes in the wedding industry. There's no more big weddings in the churches anymore. It's just like, not in our area anyways. There are, but it's like it's like literally 5% of what it used to be. So the weddings have changed. The sizes of the venues have changed, the sizes of the weddings. So we do pop-up weddings, and that's the bulk of our wedding business. So, anyways, that's just another example. So, okay, I want to talk to you before I finish up here. Where are we? We're already at 26 minutes or 20 minutes or so. And I was talking to my wife the other day. We went to Costco and she starts talking to me about some articles that she read. And I was like, whoa, Tina, she's my fair weather wife. We never usually talk about deep stuff. And she mentioned an article she read, and it was about the fact because we were leaving Costco, and she said, "Did you know I read an article the other day on why Costco has they have their restaurant, their cafeteria right outside the cashes as you're leaving." She goes, "This article was talking about, and the prices have been the same since like the 80s." And she goes, they do that strategically because it makes people feel good because when they leave, they spend a lot of money and they feel like, oh, they got a good deal. They bought a $1.50 hot dog. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Tina, way to go. My wife was talking marketing to me. We never talk marketing at the not at that level, at the strategic level. So I went into Chat GTP, and I don't know if you're using Chat GTP, but I freaking love Chat GTP. So I put in there was an article recently in Apple News on why and how Costco doesn't make much profit off the sale of food in their cafeteria, but how it enhances the buyer experience and that they feel after spending a lot of money buying stuff better about those purchases since they are now getting a great deal. Can you tell me more about this? Now I use ChatGTP, and this is the kind of questions I ask all the time. So ChatGTP says, yeah, that idea is very consistent. And I'm just going to go through it real quick. Here's a deeper psychology behind it. Post-purchase reassurance. You could apply that to running a photography studio. Okay. In other words, you could send a thank you card to your clients after they pick up a their product. Send them a thank you card a week or two later, and or send them an email. Say, yeah, I'm just checking to make sure everything's okay. Or really cool, send their kids a birthday card if you're a child photographer and like so Julia's birthday is on September, whatever, you could make a note and you could send. That makes them feel really, really good about doing business with you. Post-purchase assurance. So this did I spend too much? That was a huge cart. I just dropped $450. So it's so stupid when you think about it. I just spent $1.50. I got some cheap pizza and ice cream, and people leave. Wow, I fed my family for almost nothing. It's crazy. Dan Kennedy used to talk about this a lot, and he talk about it. It's manipulation, really. You're manipulating them, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not like you're doing something evil. You have to make a sale. They're going to come back. People go back to Costco. It's just something we all do. The peak end rule, this connects as well-known psychological concept. The emotional peak is at the ending, so before they leave. So it's after crowded aisles, giant carts, long checkout lines, and spending lots of money. This is really, really something, isn't it? The food court reinforces trust. We don't gouge our customers. It communicates, we're on your side. Inflation hits everyone except this hot dog. Um, this is pretty cool. Analysts often say hot dog isn't selling food, it's selling trust. I mean, really, that's so true. It's ridiculous when you think about it. It's a hot dog. Increases loyalty. Loss leaders and emotional economics. It's a loss leader strategy. You're all familiar with that. I won't get into that. There's also nostalgia involved, parents buying kids pizza after shopping, grandparents treating grandchildren, familiar tastes unchanged for decades. Okay. So my wife also, while we were having this conversation, talked about another article that she wrote about on a similar topic, which is to do with airport lounges. They have those premium airport lounges. You have to be a member. So when you're frazzled, it just takes away everything, gives you a place to go in the chaos of being at an airport while you're traveling. So I asked the question, how about a similar strategy for airports and the upgraded lounges for premium members? This strategy, although not the same as Costco, does in a sense mimic the idea behind molding the buyer experience and leaving a better impression on them. Exactly. I'm glad ChatGTP agrees with me. Airport lounges are a very sophisticated version of the same psychological principle Costco uses, except aimed at a premium or aspirational customer rather than a value-driven one. Both systems are really about managing emotional perception, not simply delivering a product. The common thread, emotional reframing. You spent a lot, but look at how smart and valued you are. Travel is stressful, but look at how important and cared for you are. Cool, huh? Isn't that something? So they're talking about the unpleasantness of travel, and it takes that away, makes it quiet, complimentary drinks, the lighting, feeling of exclusivity, being taken care of. So all the other ideas, I'm not going to get into it. So, but you get the point. Now you can apply all of these strategies if you are aware of them to your photography business. You got to open up your mind and look at how can you improve your client transaction, your client rapport, your long-term client value um, by using some of these and other strategies. I personally, I love this stuff. So I was really impressed when my wife was telling me about this. I didn't really, we were driving home from Costco and I'm just listening to her. And then it was like this morning or last night, I was like, holy crap, Tina was talking to me about that stuff. That's not like her. So made a mental note, actually wrote it down on one of my cards to talk to Tina about these 2 points tomorrow morning, which I did this morning. And she couldn't find the article. I said, that's fine. I went to ChatGTP and I just looked it up. As you can tell, that's what I did. But I was really impressed. Yay, Tina. Um, so there's more discussion here. So ChatGTP is really cool in that they do such a deep dive. They finish off this thread that I was just talking about with you guys. The paradox, interestingly, many luxury items work exactly like Costco's cheap hot dog strategy, just inverted. Costco gives a tiny and inexpensive luxury after a large purchase. And we do that too with our Fairy Day events because we give all the kids a free toy and some treats, and they love that. They love that. And we have our little fairy village with our little secret treasure box that we put a little gem in there, and the fairy who lives in the village left it for them, so we enhance the experience, and the kids love that. They just love it, love it, love it. So, and by proxy and by default, the parents, especially the grandparents, love it too, because to them they want their kids to be happy. Anyways, something to think about. Um, I want to talk about one more thing, and I'm going to leave you guys be. I want to talk about Erica. I mentioned her earlier. So Erica, I'm going to send her this video. I'm hoping to get a one-on-one with her. And one of the reasons I do that is because I'm curious. But when I saw her work on her website, I was totally blown away. I thought, wow, this is a good product. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you in a minute. But I was like, is she using AI to create a new backdrop, or is she just using it to enhance what's already there? Okay, because I've been looking to see this picture here. I shot this in my studio on a white backdrop, so it went light gray. Same with this one. Same with this one. And same with this one. These are all shot with just the mushroom and the treasure box and the little snowflake she's holding. Treasure box, treasure box. And I'm trying to find a way where I can do something like this. And I've brought this up in previous masterminds. And I can not have the whole setup. And my wife hates that idea because it takes away from the experience. And I'm like, I get it. But if they come in and they dress up, and I can do some really, really good shots like this, or like this, and the kid doesn't have such a deep experience because they don't see the pond. So you know what I'm saying, right? My backdrop is a 10-footer with it's takes two cars, but I'm thinking if I can just bring a 3 foot, 4 foot white paper backdrop or basic and one prop, meaning the mushroom, the wings, and the dresses, and I might be able to do a streamlined version. This is where I'm going with this because I can easily create something like this later, and I'm thinking about this. I haven't got there yet. So I'm looking at what Erica's done, and that's what led me to talk to her. Uh, so I'm going in two different directions here. So I apologize, but bear with me. So this is her, and I'm like, was that it? So I think I could do this look with Evado and some basic retouching without spending hours. But I think Erica told me she's spending a lot of time I mean, like, that's spectacular. I love the warm against the cold on this shot. I love this. So this is amazing. I'm looking at this like you got to remember though, I don't want to spend hours on each image, so I want to be able to do this fast and uh, rely a lot on AI and my skill set. Okay, I just love these. She's doing a lot of stuff right. I don't want to get into this one. Okay, so Erica sent me her before and after. I contacted her this morning and she responded, "Hi, Erica." And okay, look at this. Imagine doing this on a white backdrop, maybe with just the mushroom there. And then you could add everything later. I'm pretty sure I can do that. Do you know what I mean? Her kicker light's a little hard, but everything else is working. But you know what? It balances out because look, we got this sun coming in, and it looks like the sun. I don't know. Did you do that on purpose, or was that just serendipity? Before, after, before, after. I'm again pretty sure I can create something spectacular, similar, but without. I recognize that backdrop. Do you recognize that backdrop? That's the backdrop that Maria used to use, that she told me about it, and we used the same backdrop for many, many, many years. It's one of my older backdrops. I still have it. I might bring it back. So here we have this to this. Now, Erica's telling me that it takes her a lot of work to do these. This is spectacular. So a lot of what we're looking at from especially this shot, because you can't really see a lot of the backdrop. This is a close-up. This is more of a close-up, right? You could imagine doing something like that. You don't need everything there. So how could you do something like that? To me, I love this. And this with the frog, this with the treasure box, this with the treasure box lit up, this with her looking at the light, her face all lit up. I hope you did a variety of poses on this look right here. I love this, love this, love this. But being able to take this and drop it into a backdrop and also to do the retouching. So it looks like you did a lot of retouching on this. When I was talking to Erica, I asked her if she's using Evado. She's not. So I'm like, okay, you got to try it out because all this retouching and enhancing and just everything does to the eyes, to the teeth, to the jaw, to the skin, to the flyaway hairs, everything. So, anyways, Erica sent me that from this to this. Okay, it's beautiful. I love this. So, um, yeah. So I'm looking at different ideas and I'm trying to create a concept based on the idea that I'm still going to do fairies, but I want to test a kind of a mini session based on what I just showed you, and that was why I reached out to Erica. And yeah, I think that's all I got for now. So if you have any questions, hit me up, email me, and we'll go from there. So seems to me I had something else I wanted to say. I know I rambled on a little bit, but yeah. Okay. Take care, guys. Okay. I'm out of here. We will talk soon.